No.
All right, sit down, please, sir.
Just key.
Pardon?
Just key.
Just which?
Key. I'm here to correct a mistake by the court and by the state.
Well, first of all,
If the court has made a mistake,
are you Wilfred Keith Thompson?
no, it's not what I normally go by, no.
I see the information.
That's a fictitious entity in terms of person legally speaking, so. I've tried to clarify this a few times, but apparently the level of the topics.
So your name is Keith Thompson?
My name is Keith, that's all. Nothing more, nothing less.
You don't have a last name, sir?
I have a family name, clan name, but that's irrelevant today.
So you are not Wilfred Keith Thompson?
Okay, one more time on and for the record, I am Keith. Nothing more.
And sit down, sir. I'm looking for a Wilfred Keith Thompson. Please sit down, sir.
Actually,
Please sit down, sir.
Sorry. Can't do that. I served into the court this morning.
Sir, I'm looking for a Wilfred Keith Thompson. You are not that
This is
person. Sit down, sir.
Bailiff,
Please remove this gentleman from the courtroom.
Thank you. That's the person you're looking for.
Please,
sir, that is the person. I'm trying to remedy things. Touch me and you will be charged. I'm a peace officer. You want to dishonor a court official?
The defendant's on the bailiff's desk.
Sir, are you here on behalf of Mr. Thompson?
I said I was the administrator to that account.
Are you here as agent for
Could
him?
you guys please back up? Thanks.
Are you here as agent for him?
Not as agent, as administrator, much like you are administrator of this court.
Sir, you're either him or you're here as his agent to
As his
speak on his
administrator.
behalf. Are you either of those?
Yeah, it's lawful.
Pardon?
Yeah, he's in common law jurisdiction, which I established as soon as I came in here this morning and reestablished again. The bailiff understood me. This other bailiff, wherever she went, she understood me as well. And this gentleman doesn't like
We're
talking.
going to take a recess. Thank you.
Thank you. All rise.
How long?
How long, sir? I don't have all day, thank you. I have things to do.
We'll take the court.
Yeah, actually,
This court will recess
please
until
note that the
recall.
judge has abandoned the court. He has abandoned ship, and I, as the sovereign in this room, claim authority, case dismissed, with cause and prejudice. Have a nice day. See you later.
That's the way it's done.
When we log, I'll start making my way down from
That's great.
There's a maxim of law that states that which cannot be named does not exist. And that's what we're going to be going over today. So, let's get into it. I'm going to begin by first stating that I am not a lawyer, and I am not giving legal advice, nor am I saying that one way is better than another. Anything that you're choosing to do in the realm of law is solely at your own risk. It's like a minefield. Just because someone else made it across doesn't mean that you will. One wrong step and you're toast. I am merely giving my observations and experience with this particular maxim of law. That which cannot be named does not exist. So in the preceding clip, I'm not even going to get into why the man was able to repel the bailiffs like vampires with a cross when the judge had ordered him thrown out of court. Nor am I going to get into how he was able to dismiss his own case. That is all advanced stuff. What I want to focus on here is why the judge kept asking him his name, his full name, and he was not able to proceed without it. It was the very first thing he's asking for, which this guy refused to give him. And it's because of this maxim of law. That which cannot be named does not exist. Had the man given the judge his name, it would be at that point that the judge has jurisdiction over him. If you watch any of those demon possession exorcism movies where they're trying to get the name of the demon so that they can cast it out, because once they get the name, it gives them power and authority over the demon. It's kind of like that. And so the judge kept trying to get the name. Even after he ordered him thrown out of court, he kept trying to get the name so that he would be granted authority over him. And with no way to proceed, he had to end up taking a recess and leaving court. So I want to tell you about my experience in a court of law that relates to this. It was many, many, many years ago in my 20s when I was living in a small apartment, and I was a model tenant, never had any problems, always paid my rent on time. And I was such a good tenant that I stayed there for 10 years. Eventually I moved out and everything was great until I had asked for my security deposit, which the owner refused to give after a month of waiting for it. And it wasn't even that much. It was like $300. But to me back in the day, that was a lot of money. And I ended up taking him to small claims court over it. Well, he went there and argued damages. But after a decade of living there, there's going to be wear and tear. In fact, I told him that they're lucky I had lived there so long because they got another decade use out of that old carpet they had upstairs. But while he was arguing damages, I was arguing procedure. That procedure being that I was supposed to be given a walkthrough of the apartment unit while they itemized damages to me. And I also brought proof from the U.S. Post Office that I had my mailing address forwarded to my new residence because they didn't notify me through the mail either. And so I went through all the obligations and duties of the landlord that he failed to comply with state law. And he got really, really angry in court. I thought he was going to deck me. But the judge was impressed with it. And under Missouri statute, I was able to sue him for triple damages. So it's up to $900 now. But I ended up losing the case, or rather the case was dismissed. Why? Because I had named the owner himself as the liable party, when the property was actually in the name of his trust. So even though I had this guy dead to rights, and the judge favored my side of the case, he had to dismiss it because I had the wrong name, which trumps everything. I can't argue procedure and then get the procedure wrong myself. Naming the responsible party is the starting point for the entire case. And if that's wrong, the entire case is wrong and had to be dismissed. Of course, this only forced me to go back and file a new case claim with the correct name, which made this guy even angrier. And he eventually settled with me. And at first he was trying to settle the original $300, but I got him for $6. I got him for double instead of triple, which he was willing to do because he knew that I had the right name this time and state statute was on my side. So why am I going over all this? Because naming is just as important in magic as it is in law. In fact, it is one of the laws of magic, which I cover in the Laws of Magic subscription series, which is not available right now but will be again in April. Now, many of you know my recent bout of tonsillitis from the previous video, and as you can guess, I'm not simply content to go to the doctor and take antibiotics for it. There will be magic. I did the soap ritual from the Fire and Water program, as well as a few others. Now, one of the reasons I go to the doctor is so that I can get the correct name of what I'm dealing with, so that I can gain the knowledge of what it is I'm trying to get rid of. And so I was told by 2 doctors tonsillitis. But, you know, I took the antibiotics, still in pain. I did the magic, I'm still in pain. So I go back to the doctor, the ENT, and I tell him I don't think the antibiotics are working because I'm still hurting. And so he takes a look and he says, well, I think they are working because your tonsils look a lot better. So then it must not be your tonsils. So I showed him where exactly it's hurting, and he was pushing around, and he said that that's where your salivary gland is, and it's most likely that your salivary duct is blocked. Most common cause is a stone, a salivary stone, which I've actually had before on the other side, close to my ear. But this one is in my neck. The prescription for which is water and sour candy. He put me on another medication, which he said may or may not help. But the main thing is water and sour candy. Funny synchronicity, when I went to the grocery store and picked up a bunch of sour candy, the song I Want Candy started playing in the store. But the point is, the magic worked. It worked for what I had named. As he said, my tonsils looked better, a lot better. But that wasn't the cause of my pain. Again, I had named the wrong thing. That which cannot be named does not exist. Now, I could go with something like cause of throat pain, but, you know, that's being really general. It's always better to get the exact correct name, which I thought I had. I mean, 2 doctors said tonsillitis, and so I did have a touch of that. But by making that the focus of my magical operations, it didn't take care of the cause of what was ailing me to begin with, even though it did reduce the tonsillitis. And so the lesson here is to use the correct name. You must have the correct name if you want your magic to be effective. And be as specific as possible. You know, one of the reasons I don't like to use generalizations such as cause of throat pain is I don't like to put any part of myself into what I'm banishing. Just as in when I'm doing like healing for a loved one or a pet or whoever. It's more difficult because I don't like to put their name in it. I want to just name the disease, like tonsillitis, etc. And so I hope this gives you a little more clarity on the importance of naming. Again, that which cannot be named does not exist. If you can't refer to it with language, then it must not be. You can't have any power over something if you do not have its name, if you cannot refer to it. And that will do it for today. I will be getting to another mailbag soon, I promise. It wasn't that long ago that I was getting complaints that I was doing too many mailbags. But, you know, after going through this, the messages have been piling up. So we will get to it within another video or so. And until then, many blessings to you, and take care.